Who are you?
My name is Tanisha. My last name's Wallace. I'm 37. I'm originally from the Sacramento Valley. I'm not from Kern County. Through prison and things like that, I ended up in Kern County. I was just going to give you my experience, my strength, and my hope for everybody.
Okay.
All right. So if you would like me to begin, I can begin. Or if you want to ask me questions, you can.
Okay. So for starters, how did you currently get in the situation in now?
I currently got in this situation right now because I got the case of the F-its. I'm going to say the F-its because I really shouldn't use curse words because F-it works because that F can be implemented with a lot of different things that cause my homelessness. Really, I just got the F-its, meaning I said I got rebellious and didn't want to follow the little steps, the little goals to get better. And then I got angry, and then I had a couple little things happen, like an accident. People get hurt a lot, but we don't embrace the fact that we only had one or two little hurts versus impact. You know what I mean? So I just really got mad. I got mad, and I decided to start stealing from the store, and that's how I lost any type of stepping up, in little steps. So that's in my experience, it mainly started with me being rebellious, me accepting the fact that I don't have to pay bills, that I don't have to do things that make me a citizen today, like following the law. You know what I mean? Not breaking the laws. And then once I got into an addiction, when my addiction got active, I fell into a rock bottom that wasn't embraced. I wasn't given hugs. You know what I'm saying? Out here in Bakersfield, whereas it took a while for people to start giving me hugs and embracing me because they wanted to see what type of person I was due to stealing from the store. All I can say is through my experience, I didn't take the little sacrifices that I need to, including today. There's things that I can sacrifice, like I'm working on not stealing at all and not breaking the law at all. And I know I'm probably talking a little fast, but my experience overall is that I gotta follow the law, and I've gotta make sure that I don't lose the fact that paying bills, the things that make me a citizen, are important to me, whether I realize it or not. My strength is that I'm not going to give up. My strength is that I've always been able to be blessed. I've always been able to not, sorry, I look at the camera. I've always been able to shake myself out of certain things. However, I never really had to deal with grief. I never had to deal with loss. I was a person who was so sheltered with attention that when I got in a position to have somebody who cared about me, I abused that person. Abusing that person, once that situation was worn out, I ultimately isolated myself, and that was my own fault. So then I took 2 years of being angry again that put me through that whole cycle again. So that was a strength for me to realize after the fact of my experience, but my experience still applies today. I've got to take the little steps to gain those steps to sacrifice a life of crime, a life of neglect of myself and others, because it shows in my relationship. I'm a big lover, but I was an abuser. I was a very rude person. So today my hope is that every day I'm going to wake up embracing the fact that I have hope. The fact that I have hope, that love exists. I was making love about something that it wasn't, about what I was doing, whether I had expectations or not. Also, my hope is that we can all come together and just start loving on people more. It's not so much about what we do, it's about how we do it. About going out and saying, hey, I'm here because I care. Like you doing your blog is so wonderful because it gives hope. It gives hope, and it gives honesty to the things that I don't need to be ignoring, you know what I mean? Like vanity. There's characteristics in my speech that show the things I need to work on. So my hope is that by me breaking the barriers within myself, the things that I'm still isolating or ignoring, and you know what, and also surrendering and saying, I'm powerless, let me go knock on this door at rehab. Even if I don't want to go in the door, they're not saying don't knock on the door. You know what I mean? They're happy to help. But I believe also the hope is that people start understanding that we all need this help, and that God is there. We make things about what we get out of it. And I get things out. I'm the type that gets things out of everything. So right now I could just learn to love myself and slow down. But thank you for your time.
Okay, and how was life for you as a child growing up?
I was sheltered. I was so sheltered, but I grew up with a lot of acceptance in my life. I grew up in Sacramento, the Sacramento Valley, so the fact that I have acceptance for everybody. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to stereotypes, homeless is not anything bad. When I was growing up, it was hobos. I heard about hobos, not about homelessness. I heard about hobos and how about people on the train and people on the river. They were drunks, But those are some of the people that have loved me the most. at my worst, at the times where I didn't have nothing. You know what I mean? So in order for me to build, in order for my experience to give me strength today, I would say that I grew up in a home that was I was very loved, and not just by my parents, but by everybody. But I was given a lot of acceptance, so that makes me a little bit different type of person. I accept everybody, and that's where I've got to make a change and implement my recovery tools. You know, I'm 37. My mom was a bartender, but I grew up in a community that taught people how to do things that appealed to them. Does that make sense? We play basketball regardless, you know what I mean? Because it makes us feel good. Does that make sense? Like, we play soccer because we do that. We like to work because we like to work. A lot of people don't have those things implemented, I believe, at a young age, where I did. So my acceptance also is the same. You know, with every good diet, it's intake versus output. So I was given a lot, you know what I mean? So I want to give a lot. Today I've got to embrace that I don't have responsibilities. You know, so I was always given a lot of love. I have one little sister. She's great. My little sister's great. I just feel like my parents need a lot of love today. You know, they sacrificed a lot for 18 years, you know, 23 years, 37 years. So the experience and the strength come with my hope. My hope is that I'll get time to set it. I got to set the using aside. Inhalants are going to be the biggest thing for me, because it's not just about addiction. I inhale my emotional outlet, my emotional outlet. See, I gotta work it out. My emotional outlet, and it's okay with me. I don't deal with vanity. It's just my emotional outlet was to pick up a cigarette. Does that make sense? To smoke, any type of smoke. So that's something that I coveted. So by being something that I coveted, my numbers, when we look at numbers, sales, you know, success, numbers is, okay, I did too much of this smoking and I gotta set it aside. You know, it's not about the addiction, it's about setting it aside. Because I could always get a little bit into addiction, or a lot of into addiction, but when it comes to breaking laws, my upbringing did not support that.
And how did addiction affect your life personally?
Personally, man, I always made it acceptable. My addiction's my problem, because I had an outlet that was given to me with marijuana, because I was such a high-strung person. I'm a Scorpio, very intense, you know what I'm saying? So if I wasn't doing sports to get that energy out, get that anger out, you know, get my emotional build-up out, I was given the opportunity to smoke cigarettes, smoke weed, you know, when somebody should have really given me more of a punching bag. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? More of a soccer ball, some more weeds to pull. You know what I mean? Because pulling weeds, doing yard work, that's the only balance that I have. Because today I can tell you that as much as I want to just set the smoking down, I've got to work at that. Because I use it for everything, you know? And it's so easy for me to be like, oh, I'm upset, let me just stuff it by grabbing a cigarette. So that's how addiction worked with me. I used methamphetamine for many years. You know, methamphetamine is something, okay, I'm gonna say crystal methamphetamine, because I grew up in Sacramento County. I grew up in a place like Hawaii, you know, that got flooded with ice, what they call ice. Methamphetamine to me is a totally different drug, but I don't want to glorify drugs. All drugs and inhalants are something that I use to make dormant in my emotional development.
Do you have any regrets?
I have a lot of, okay, I'm not ready to accept the word regret. Let me just say that. And that's great for progress. You know, I'm ready to accept the word regret, because to me a regret is something that I've had a realization that I use. I regret picking up a cigarette. I regret when somebody handed me that pack of cigarettes, not looking at that pack and putting in the mental thought of, those are bad, I'm not picking it up. See, this pack of cigarettes is so symbolic for me, because if I would have set the pack down and thought about it and really took a day to say, oh my God, I just went through something traumatic or whatever, but those cigarettes are not the answer, I would have less of an attachment to it today.
Yeah. And then last question, any advice you would like to give the viewers?
Any advice? Well, my name's Tanisha, you know, my name's Tanisha Wallace, you know, and people need bathrooms, yo. People need bathrooms. The community in the city, you know, everybody overall that sees the video, dude, bathrooms are not something to cut corners with, okay? Bathrooms. People need to pee in something. They need to, you know what I mean? And I'm not just talking about people on drugs, people homeless. Everybody needs a dang bathroom. And the city itself should be ashamed, you know what I mean? Because we're taking away things from people without any type of reward system that's not $1. You know what I'm saying? That's not money, monetary exchange. You know, people anybody with a situation where they've fallen needs a bathroom. You know what I'm saying? They don't need to be shunned or given a system that is only putting them in jail and torturing them. You know, they need a bathroom. You know, my advocacy is for waste receptacles. If we could get a little bit of thought into maybe even a whiteboard at the park that gives me, I can pick up this pen and write down and fill in these little Mad Lib blanks about what I'm doing, and another board to show me what I could be doing. That gives those people a place to go to and say, you know what, let me just look at this real quick. Let me analyze what I'm doing. Because that's the number one thing I've learned in recovery. In recovery is that when I do I statements and I'm really about me in the right ways, and then close my mouth and sit a little bit, I'm having success. You know, 17 years ago, I went to Georgia and I was in the movie ATL. Now, you'd never know that I was in ATL, you know what I mean? And this is going to be a big thing when I kind of had to think about it, whether I said something or not. But, you know, when I participated in that movie, right now, today, all my flaws hang out. I don't avoid the camera because I'm down on myself. I avoid it for other reasons. However, it all works hand in hand. You know what I mean? To be given an opportunity at that time to say I'm going to wait 30 years to touch my investment, just a reflection of me being in that movie, believe it or not. You know, I said I'd wait 30 years. It's only been 17 years. So I'm ready to deal with my addiction. I'm ready to deal with my backsliding, you know, because it's a lifestyle. You know, a person in the community that's honest doesn't want to be doing things dishonest, you know what I'm saying? So this is helping me a lot, and I appreciate it, because for an admission of guilt, it's not really about guilt, it's about I'm powerless. I'm powerless until every morning I embrace tools and I apply them every day. Every day.
All right. Thank you, Tanisha, for sharing your story.
Thank you.